Welcome to part 2 of this story. In part 1, Amaka was married to Henry and Henry took her for granted, divorced her because she was fat and abandoned her with a little boy. Thereafter, after losing weight, she met her old childhood friend Femi and they got along. Femi, now interested in Amaka, now wants to marry her and she refused. Let's see what happens in part 2. Enjoy the story. For a month, Amaka refused to see Femi. She wanted to have a clear head before making any decision. She did not want to get hurt, nor did she want to expose her son to any emotional trauma. The one Henry had inflicted on them was enough, and she didn't want an extra. But she couldn't shake off the feeling that Femi's love was true and kind. He was kind, lovable, cared for her son to a fault, and he was still single. But still, her heart raced. She couldn't really make a decision, but she knew that she wanted to be with him. Just then, while she was in thought, a text message came in. It was from an interview she had gone for 2 months ago. The message read that she had gotten the position of head of procurement and contracts at Fedicine Tech International. She screamed with joy, and the first person she called was Femi. Femi, can you imagine? I've gotten this position. Oh God, remember that position that I told you I applied? I've gotten it. Femi was so happy for her and kept quiet and listened as she rambled off. After she had finished talking, Femi said, Amaka, what about my proposal? Please marry me, please. Right there and then, out of excitement, Amaka said yes. Femi screamed in joy. Amaka, for real? For real? Oh my love, thank you so much. You have made me the happiest man ever. Thank you, my dear. The next day, Femi came to pick up Amaka. She had never been to his house before because she had made a rule not to. But today was different. She was his fiancée. They pulled up in front of a massive mansion. Amaka's eyes widened as she looked at the beauty of this grand mansion with its tall pillars and lush garden. Femi, is this your house? Femi smiled. Yes, this is my house and this is just one of them, he said as he stepped out of the car. She hesitated. Femi, are you sure? She asked. Just then, one of the maids came to pick up her bag and then said, Welcome, ma. Oga been talk about you long ago. He has? Amaka surprised. Madam, you no know how Oga love you. If you know, you go fly comot for here. You dey very, very lucky, my madam. My madam, you don't know how Oga love you. My madam. Amaka smiled. Femi gently held her hand. Come on, babe, let's go inside. The interior was more stunning than the outside. It was so beautiful and well decorated, and the house smelled of luxury. You must be very hungry, Femi said. Let me go to the kitchen and prepare something for you. Amaka shook her head. No, let me cook. It will keep my mind busy. Femi raised an eyebrow. Are you sure? She nodded. Yes, cooking makes me feel better. He smiled. All right then, the kitchen is yours. And then he led her to the kitchen. Amaka walked into the kitchen and was shocked. It was huge with more modern appliances, polished marble counters, and shelves stocked with the best ingredients. For the first time, she felt a flicker of warmth. Maybe, just maybe, this was the start of something new. Then something caught her eyes. She saw a weight loss book. Curious, she picked it up and flipped through the pages. Interested in that book? Femi's voice startled her. She turned to see him leaning against the doorway and smiling. That's my mother's, he continued. She used to be overweight when I was a kid. But she followed the steps in that book and now she has completely transformed herself. Amaka's eyes widened. Really? Do you have a picture of your mother before? Femi pulled out his phone and showed her a photo. A before and after picture. Amaka smiled. Wow, Amaka said, your mother really looks slim and elegant and absolutely stunning. She looks amazing. Femi nodded. Yes, she worked so hard on herself just like you did, and that's why I can relate to your story. For the first time that day, Amaka smiled. She finally understood why Femi truly understood what she had been going through. Femi then hugged her and said, this house is yours. You can move in anytime you want. No, Femi, Amaka said. This is too much for one night. Do you want to kill me with surprises? Femi chuckled. Anything for you, my love. And I still have one more surprise for you on Monday. Really? What is it this time, Femi? Femi, what are you up to now? Don't worry, you will see. And just like that, a new chapter of her life began. On Monday morning, as she resumed at Fedicine Tech International, she was led into the boardroom. At the head of the table, along with other staff, was Femi sitting at the extreme end. Amaka was shocked to see Femi, but as soon as she sat down, Femi smiled and announced, "Let's welcome the head of procurement and contracts, my soon-to-be wife." Amaka was startled, completely shocked. Was she dreaming? Everyone cheered and clapped. Then Femi continued, "HR insisted on bringing you in. He said you had an impressive CV and portfolio." Femi addressed his staff briefly and then dismissed them. When they left, he walked up to Amaka, who was shedding tears of joy. Through her tears, she whispered, "Femi, what have I done to deserve all this love from you? This is too much. Did God send you to me?" "Yes, he did," Femi said, pulling her into his arms. "I told you, I would do anything for you. By the way, you got this job on merit. I wasn't even aware that my HR brought you into my company." "What?" Amaka said. "You have no hand in this?" "Femi, wait. Are you telling me you are the owner of Fedicine Tech?" Amaka didn't know whether to cry or laugh. Then she looked at Femi and said, "You will never regret this decision, Femi." Femi smiled and replied, "I always make the right choice and I know you are my heartbeat." Days turned into weeks. Amaka remained committed to her job and consistent with her food routine. She felt empowered, happier and more energetic than before. Every time she looked into the mirror, she saw a new version of herself, a stronger, more confident woman. Then one evening, Femi took her to a business event. As they walked in, all eyes turned to them. Amaka was dressed in a stunning gown and her confidence radiating through the room. "You look absolutely breathtaking," Femi whispered in her ears, and she smiled. "Thank you, Femi, for everything." And for the first time in a long while, Amaka felt truly happy. Amaka's transformation was nothing short of incredible. In just a year and a few months, she had shed the weight that once made her insecure. But more importantly, she had gained confidence and a new sense of purpose. At the gala, Femi said to Amaka, "You have been working so hard and you deserve to enjoy yourself. You see, people are staring at us." Then Amaka replied, "Yes, they are." Femi chuckled, "Because you are beautiful. Trust me, Amaka, they are staring at you in admiration." Encouraged by his words, she smiled. Her gown hugged her new figure perfectly. The event was grand. Business tycoons, celebrities, influential people filled the hall, chatting and laughing over glasses of champagne and wine. Amaka felt slightly nervous, but reminded herself that she belonged here. As she and Femi mingled, she noticed people sneaking glances at her, whispering. At first, she thought they were gossiping, but then she realized they were admiring her. She was no longer the insecure woman who had been tossed aside. She was confident, elegant, and radiating beauty. Then the unexpected happened. Across the room, she spotted a familiar face, Henry. Her heart skipped a beat. He was standing with Cynthia, but something was different about him. He was no longer looking confident and proud. Instead, he looked stressed with a little pouch in his stomach. Henry's eyes wandered around the room until he landed on Amaka. His brows furrowed and he stared in confusion, and then he cleared his eyes. He nudged Cynthia and then said, "Who is that woman? She looks familiar." Cynthia glanced at Amaka and then shrugged. "I don't know, but she looks very beautiful." Henry took a few steps towards her and then his eyes locked on Amaka. Then the realization hit him like a thunderbolt. His mouth felt open. "Amaka," he whispered in disbelief. Amaka looked at him, tilting her head slightly. "Hello, Henry. How are you?" Henry's eyes scanned her from head to toe, struggling to believe what he was seeing. You look different," she smiled. "I know, right?" Femi, who had been watching silently, finally spoke. "Is there any problem, Henry?" Henry swallowed hard. I just didn't recognize her." His voice was filled with regrets. Amaka leaned in slightly and whispered, "That's because the woman you threw away no longer exists." He stood frozen, realization dawning on him that he had made the greatest mistake of his life. Cynthia, noticing Henry's intense tears, tugged him at his arm. "Henry, why are you looking at her like that?" He blinked and forced a chuckle. I'm just surprised." Cynthia frowned. "Surprised about what?" Henry cleared his throat. Nothing really, he muttered, turning away. But deep inside, he knew it wasn't nothing. Meanwhile, Amaka remained composed. She refused to let Henry see any sign of weakness. The woman he had humiliated and abandoned was gone. And now she stood confident right in front of him. Femi saw Henry's discomfort. "You know, Henry," he said casually, "Amaka has been doing amazing things lately, and she has grown into a remarkable woman." Henry forced a tight smile. Yes, I can see that." His jaw clenched as he looked at Femi. "What's going on between you two?" he said. Femi smiled, widening. "Amaka is my fiancée." Henry's eyes widened in shock. "What?" "Yes, Henry. Femi and I are engaged," said Amaka. At that moment, Henry felt dizzy. The woman he had abandoned was now with one of the most powerful men in the country. He had expected her to suffer without him, to beg for his help. Instead, she had transformed into something far beyond his reach. He had thought he was invincible after securing that multi-million contract. But now, the very man who awarded him the contract, Femi, was engaged to his ex-wife. "Henry," Femi said, "Amaka is now the head of procurement and contracts. She'll be demanding results of the awarded contract to you." "Temi ba mi," Henry said almost as a whisper, for he was nowhere close to delivering the contract. Then Amaka said, "Oh, by the way, Henry, you have a month to deliver the project." And just like that, she turned and left in Femi's arms. To make things worse, Amaka, the woman he had abandoned, was now in control of his reports, and he couldn't believe it. Cynthia, as usual, strutted into Henry's office the next day and saw him moody, and then she asked, "What's with the long face?" Henry stared at her. "Do you even understand what's happening to me, Cynthia? If I don't complete this project in a month, I have to refund all the money. And do you know what that means to us?" Cynthia rolled her eyes. "Relax, Henry, you're overthinking this. You are rich now. We'll figure something out." "Rich? Rich?" Henry slammed his hand on the desk. "Figure what out? The money's almost gone, Cynthia. We have been living lavishly, throwing parties, spending on an expensive vacation. There's barely enough left to complete the project." Cynthia scoffed. So what are you saying? Are you saying that we are broke?" Henry rubbed his face. "Not yet, but if I can't fix this, we will be broke." Cynthia looked at him angrily. "Then fix it. I didn't leave my comfort to be with a loser, and if you can't handle business, maybe or just maybe I will find someone who can and who will take care of me. I don't stay with losers." And then she walked out of his office. Henry's eyes darkened. "Are you serious? Are you walking out of me?" Cynthia said, "I followed you because you had money, and if you lose it, I leave." Henry felt like someone had just slapped him. At that moment, he realized the truth. Cynthia had never loved him. She had only been with him for luxury and lifestyle. Just like he had discarded Amaka, Cynthia was already discarding him. He felt so sad and suddenly feeling empty. At Femi's company, Amaka sat confidently behind her desk as Henry walked into her office. She had been waiting for this moment, but not out of revenge, but because she had worked so hard to reach the position. Now she had the power to demand accountability. Henry hesitated before speaking. "Amaka, please, I need more time on this project. Please, for old time's sake." She raised an eyebrow. "More time? What old time's sake? Are we together again? Please, let's just discuss business. The deadline was already generous. What exactly have you been doing with the funds?" He swallowed hard. "Amaka, I miscalculated. I thought you thought what, Henry? You thought Femi wouldn't notice?" She interrupted him. "You thought you could get away with taking money and not delivering results?" Henry remained silent. Amaka leaned forward. "This is business, Henry. I will not cover your mistakes. You have 4 weeks to fix this mess, or you'll be forced to refund every kobo." Henry's heart pounded. He could see it now. Amaka was no longer the helpless woman he had abandoned. She was in charge, and for the very first time, he truly regretted everything. Henry left Amaka's office with his head hanging low, his hands trembling as he gripped his phone. He had never imagined he would one day be at Amaka's mercy. The woman he had once called Fat Pig was now the one holding his fate in her hands. He tried everything to save the project. He made desperate calls, called his friends in an attempt to beg Femi and Amaka, but it was too late. No one wanted to help a man who had mismanaged millions and who had also abandoned his wife and his son. Then the worst thing happened. 2 weeks before the deadline, Cynthia packed her bags and left. "I'm not going to sit around and watch you go bankrupt," she said coldly, tossing the engagement ring he had given her onto the table. "I thought you were a winner. Henry, you are just another loser." And just like that, in shock, she walked out of his house, leaving him completely alone. The very woman he had betrayed Amaka for had abandoned him in the moment when he needed her the most. Karma had come full circle. At Femi's company, Amaka sat at her desk reviewing Henry's final project report. As expected, it was a disaster. The work was incomplete, and there were multiple financial discrepancies. She cited and picked up her phone. "Femi, Henry failed to deliver. We need to proceed with refund process." Femi, always calm, responded, "I expected it. Let's move forward with the legal action." Next day, Henry received an official letter from the company. He was being sued for breach of contract and mismanagement of funds. His accounts would be frozen if he failed to pay back. His properties would be seized. Henry rushed to Amaka's office pleading, Amaka, please, I've made a mistake. I was foolish. Don't let them take this away from me. Don't let them sell my houses." His voice cracked with desperation. "Remember, we have a son together. Please, Amaka." Amaka looked up at him with calm expression. "When you left me, Henry, did you not stop to think about how I would survive? Did you care that I had anything? Did you care about our son?" She shook her head. "You didn't, and now you want mercy?" Tears welled up in Henry's eyes. "Amaka, please. I know I don't deserve it, but I'm begging you." Amaka exhaled, a part of her pitying him, but she knew he had to face the consequences of his choice. "Henry, this is not about revenge. This is about responsibility and accountability. You wasted your opportunity, and now you have to deal with the result of your action." Henry fell on his knees, sobbing, but Amaka had made up her mind. The company proceeded with the lawsuit, and within weeks, Henry lost everything. His cars, his mansions, his reputation, his business, all gone. And he has gone from being a wealthy businessman to a man with nothing. Meanwhile, Amaka's life was blossoming. She had not only transformed physically, but she had grown into a strong, confident woman. Her relationship with Femi deepened, and soon they announced their wedding. On the day of her wedding, as Amaka stood in front of the mirror, in her stunning white dress, she smiled. She had once thought losing Henry was the worst thing ever, but in reality, it was the best thing that ever happened to her. She had found love. She had found herself. This almost looked like a revenge, but it wasn't a revenge for Amaka. But this tasted sweeter, and more importantly, she had won. If you enjoyed our story, please drop your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think about Amaka? Should she have shown mercy to Henry, or did he get exactly what he deserved? Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next story. Bye.